There we go. Sorry about that. I was just talking in the mic and I realized the mic wasn't working. I should have seen that before I even started. Very sorry about that. I had a bit of Windows update earlier today. So yeah, Vandar here today with another stream of Dead Cells. Now, the big difference with today's stream is my D&D group isn't running today. Two people have work, so I was like, that's fair. Totally fair. Well, no, sorry, not that it's totally fair, it's just that literally they're busy, and this is all about like scheduling, rescheduling, and being able to work around things like that. So, and it just means the session's just going to be pushed back to a later date for them. That's totally fine and all. I don't mind. It means I get to have a bit of a relaxing Saturday after Magic, or just take it a little bit easier during Saturday. I've got all my stuff planned for that session at a later date, so it's all good. So I wouldn't worry about too much about that. So, with that out of the way, we'll be able to do a little bit of Dead Cells tonight. Now, in the previous one, we actually got the first stem cell. How did we get that? Doing the DLC for, I believe it's the Queen. Like, fighting the Queen in the lighthouse. I didn't know you could get the stem cell doing that, instead of going after the Hand of the King, so that was interesting. So now we're on to the second stem cell. Oh, sorry, the first stem cell we're going into. So, the difficulty of the game has now gone from normal to hard. I'm really enjoying just going back and replaying all the game, like going back through the whole thing. Like, well, the one thing I can definitely say I don't appreciate is the lack of wall running. Like, literally that is hurting me, like, on a whole. Like, you wouldn't believe. Like, being able to have momentum and just run straight up a wall is generally one of those, like, really cool things, I think. Alright, and just to show you the difficulty, if you have never seen this game before. Oops. How do I actually activate it? Wait, hold on. The swords are yellow now? Okay. Can I activate the stem cells? Hold on. We'll walk away and go back to it. Unless... Oh, it's because it started to run already. Okay. So I can't do that. Alright, I'll just do a quick explanation. So, with the current settings, you see those symbols? The symbol on the left is indicating that the game is now in hard mode. It is the first stem cell. The second symbol in the middle is representing fountains, health fountains, that you recharge your flask. That is indicating that there's not going to be as many to refill. And the anvil on the right is indicating that the ++ Legendary Forge is now able to be upgraded in this difficulty, instead of just the regular Legendary Forge, which is the plus. We can't get to the ++ yet until we finish the plus one. Or the first plus one. Yeah, so that makes sense why I couldn't move the stem cells, because I just realized our thing was at 8 seconds. There we go. So in terms of the day, it was actually a pretty fun day today. I GM'd, which is Game Mastered, ran a Pathfinder session, which I usually do every second Saturday. And it's a horror pre-written as well. Ooh, we got a visible guy already. The assassin. Good, got him. Yeah, just running. It's called Carrying a Crown. It's a horror adventure theme. It's a horror themed adventure, and each book has a different kind of theme. Which the book the players are up to right now is Eldritch Horror. So all the dark tapestry of Cthulhu and all that. The Pure Nail did as well, but that was a legendary Pure Nail. Not a fan of the Pure Nail, although it started, the legendary one was making me appreciate it. Although it was legendary, but it out-damaged everything. Oh, hello, Turin Wolf. Yeah, I got some more free time. Oh, you wanted to get into D&D, but it seems so daunting? It's not that daunting. Well, it looks like it from the outside, but in terms of like getting into it, all you need is literally some dice, which there's 7 of them. I'd recommend the player's hand guide, or player's core guide, or the handbook for D&D 5e at least. Oh, Toxic Sewers, don't want to go there, just there yet. Paper and pencil. You can get the sheet from literally online, and you can get into it just by a few people, like either GMing or getting into a game that's already that's ongoing at your local board game shop. Hold on, sorry, just 1 second. Like, to me, it felt really daunting when I first got into it. Like, I was like really into Magic, and I still am, but I was like, one day I was like, saw a few people getting into Pathfinder, which is older D&D. This was about 8 years ago, and I said to my friends, look, I'm just going to try this thing called Pathfinder, see how that goes. And that was probably the best decision of my life, because I met some of my best friends through that. And yeah, just literally just print out a character sheet, have a bit of thought, like what kind of character you want to build. Don't want to break that curse shield and that curse door. Have an idea of what kind of character you want to play, like spellcaster, fighter, skill character, that sort of thing. My recommendation for class to pick, I wouldn't recommend Warlock, because that can actually be daunting for a first-time character. I feel like Fighter is, as people call it, a basic character, but it can do so much in combat, I feel. And you can't really go wrong with a range, a melee fighter. You can even be a spellcaster fighter in a subclass and get some really cool tricks with, like, supreme maneuvers. I can't remember exactly the name of it. There's so much I have to remember because I GM like 4 different systems. Something like that. But yeah, Fighter's good. Barbarian is very friendly. Oh yeah, this is the Royal Garden. This is the DLC for Bad Seed. So we can get here now that we can actually teleport. I don't think we'll actually go in there though. Yeah, so Barbarian, I recommend that because it's kind of hard to go wrong with that as well, but you're just a big tank, big damage, get in their face kind of guy. And it's got one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best subclasses in the game, which is Bear. It's the Totem subclass, but you pick Bear to have resistance against basically everything in the game. And resistance is like half damage. So what's a skill character? It sounds quite vague. Oh yeah, like Rogue, which is like basically a sneaky, I'm gonna stab you in the back kind of character. There's Bard as well, although the Bard is a caster as well, he's also a very good skill character. The Monk could be regarded as a skill character, but is also a pretty decent fighter. Like, decent melee fighter, I should say. What is this on the ground? Oh. I haven't noticed that thing just there. It's glowing. Okay. Yeah, Rogue, Monk, what I would think is the skill characters. The Marshals, basically the fighters, Fighter, Barbarian, Ranger, Paladin. Now, the cool thing about... Oh, so mainly misuse, like, classes that don't fit into other classes? Yeah, I would say so. Like, rogues aren't exactly the greatest frontliners, but they can... When an enemy's distracted, they can get around for a sneak attack. Like, literally, they can sneak attack, and they can get into places where other classes can't, with, like, stealth or other various skills they can use, like being able to palm off items in the shop and that kind of stuff. They're a very interesting class. Like, they're good at like a bit of everything, but mainly their skills are what gets them through everything. Bards, as much as people joke about that they are so charismatic that they can date a dragon and that sort of thing, they actually got some very interesting spells that they can cast and basically sing songs to buff the team. There's a number of... Oh, I almost forgot that. Like, they can just be a very good support class. We'll go with Red. Activate that, yep, door's open. There we go. And the various spellcasters as well, like Wizard, Sorcerer, Warlock, Cleric. As... Like, those... yeah, I did mention Warlock. Bard also fits under Caster and Druid. Out of all those classes, spellcasters, Wizard is the most frail spellcaster because He has access to many spells that are very damaging, but he lacks mobility in a lot of cases. Like, when I say by cases, I mean like subclasses, and he has a lot of schools of magic. But when you have someone like, say, for example, the Druid, who is nature, like a nature, roughly how many people are needed to start to play or play a game? How long do they go for? Do they go over several days or just a couple of hours? Roughly the best number for a group, not including the GM, or if we include the GM, 4 characters. So 1 GM and 4 players to play as those characters. You can go to 3. I've had as low as 2, and that turns into like a bit of a sneaking sort of mission sort of thing. But yeah, 4 is a good number. You can go to 5, but when you start going higher than 5, it doesn't just become about the action economy that you can like. Basically, let's say for example a zombie. Oh, no zombie. Let's go with Ghast. A Ghast is a pretty decent challenge for a group of 4 level 1 characters, right? But if you put a 5th one in there, it's still equal. Like, it's still a decent challenge. But as soon as you get to 6, 7, 8, 9, then the Ghast is like outnumbered, and the group can actually just wail on him. So, and also when you go like above 4 and going up like 5, 6, 7, you have to allocate like roleplay and time to each of those characters. So, for example, when you're in like a turn-taking RPG, like when you're playing this yourself, like on a video game, you're taking up all that time. But when you have to allocate like, let's say 3 party members, so 3 players, they're going to take their turns with their own time, if that makes sense. So they're thinking like, okay, what do I do here? What do I do there? And that sort of thing. So if you get like 9 players, suddenly one player will be waiting. As soon as his turn's over, it could be waiting like 20 or so minutes for his turn. So that's why when you go 4 players, and you know roughly everyone knows what's to do, it's actually pretty straightforward and can go pretty quick. The fighter classes are, or the marshals are very easy. They know what to do. Get in there and hit, blast, position yourself so you can get flanking, that sort of thing. When you have spellcasters like wizard or cleric, sorcerer, they have to think like, okay, where do I need to be positioned so this cone, this fireball, this cone of frost doesn't hit my friends and is great for me position-wise. And also the spellcaster could have a number of abilities, like the druid could turn into a bear, and suddenly he's like, I'm not casting spells, I'm going to be a frontliner. Or the wizard's going to be like, I'm just going to cast fly and fly away. Or the cleric suddenly decides to be the jack of all trades, and decides to cast Guardian Spirits and gets into melee, which they can totally do that. Clerics, in my opinion, are the jack of all trades when it comes to spellcaster, and jack of all trades and master of a few. They're really, really good because they don't just have to be a spellcaster; they can be a frontliner, which is pretty scary when you're on the other side of the GM screen and just thinking like, oh man, that cleric's getting into a fight. I'll upgrade that, get a bit more damage. Oh nice, that was a lot of damage. But yeah, 4 players is ideal. Am I correct in assuming the GM kind of narrates the game? Also, sorry for interrupting you, there's a huge delay, so I'm trying to predict when to type. Oh, that's okay, I don't mind talking about this thing. Well, I've had a number of years playing D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder, all the games, a lot of games. But yeah, the GM kind of narrates the game. Like, basically, the best way to describe it is the group as a whole are like painters, except the GM gives the canvas. You put a bit of painting down, and then your players will interact with that painting in a way. So, for example, if you, as a GM, want like to set the story to be like, this town needs to, you need to prevent the goblins from robbing it. You can totally make like a whole story out of that, where the group goes to a tavern, it is one of the most cliche things, but it's actually one of the easiest things to set up. And they can get to that quest in a number of ways. As you, the GM, can narrate or put down hooks for them to come across. So if you want them to deal with the goblins, there could be a bounty on the board. There could be someone talking about it. Yeah, you're basically a game creator. It is a lot of fun. It's very quick, especially when you're in person. I've done it online, and I'm less of a fan of it because you really feel like you got to make a map so detailed, and you have the system online. But in person, it's like very quick, very easy. Yeah, so you can basically make a game, and it's a lot of fun because, unlike, let's say, what's a good example? I guess The Witcher. Like, I can't remember every single side quest, but like, say for example, you need to go and hunt the Griffin. Well, the group can go in a different number of ways to go and hunt that Griffin. They could like lay down traps. They could hunt, get a cow to lure out the Griffin. They could actually mount the Griffin and fly it and, fight it in the air and that sort of thing. It's pretty interesting. And you as the GM are the judge when it comes to rules. Like, you basically make it so the rules like fit within the guides, but also the rule of cool, which is like, if it's not in the book, but it makes sense, I would let it fly. Like, for example, someone wants to climb a Griffin and basically stab it, like sort of thing. I would come up with a quick way of how to rule it, say to the group, okay, we're going to go with this, and that sort of thing. Like, hold on, refillment, we don't need it, we can break it actually. That's a nice 3,000. So yeah, you're basically making a game. It's very creative. Your players will do stuff you'll never imagine they do. Like, could be a simple puzzle. Could be that they, like, for example, the goblins. They could come up a number of ways to actually hunt the goblins down. They could diplomacy the goblins away by bribing them. And you can make checks, like, by rolling the dice where the goblins might be like, that's not enough gold, we need more. And that sort of thing. It doesn't just have to be, you must go kill X amount of goblins, quest is over. They can negotiate with them. They get them to literally leave. They could, in fact, scare them away just by being intimidating. It's a lot of fun. And that's why I'm really drawn to RPGs, tabletop-wise. Because it's like playing a video game, but you get a lot of control over it. And the fact that you can be so creative with the characters as well, it's a pretty big draw. Like, you don't just have to be human, you can be elves, you could be gnomes, you could be avians that fly, you could be a bug race that is large, you could be like literally a smaller race of dragons that are on 2 feet. It's a very fun game in terms of being creative. And the characters, the players themselves, can roleplay with each other. Like, for example, I just started in another game as a player, and hold on, let's get on. Sounds interesting. I think I prefer to be a GM. Sounds fun just watching it play out. Plus, I like working on things that I'll try that sometime and get into it. Yeah, no, that's why I like being the GM, because one, you get to make all these things that you get to see the players interact with, and then you got to think on the fly, like, how's this going to work out, and so forth. And the way I kind of joke whenever someone asks, well, why don't you like being a player? I always joke saying, like, I get to play all the things. But in terms of like roleplay, like, I've started in a game where me and this other player are meant to be from the same like orphanage because of a background trait that was given to us by the GM. So I was like, okay, well, we're gonna be siblings, alright. Alright, I'm gonna be a wizard and that person's gonna be a sorcerer. And the big joke is the sibling that I'm role-playing with is a sorcerer, so they get their powers just naturally, right? While a wizard has to study to get their powers. So I just kept coming up with the joke that, oh, your powers were given to you, I had to study for mine. And it's just a big running joke. And it's also just playing into the roleplay as well. And it makes it interesting, like, how the other player's going to react to me saying all these things to him. And naturally I say, like, out of game, like, are you okay with all this sort of stuff? I'm not pushing any button-wise, like, and she was like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. Like, it is so funny, like she likes being able to interact with it. It's a lot of fun. And just the GM also plays off it very well as well, like, when it comes to, like, roleplay as well. Like, for example, there was this kid that was giving out, like, a doll, but I was like, oh, I don't want a doll, but I'll give the kid, like, a silver. And the kid ended up giving this, my sibling the doll, and I was like, oh, look at that, just being given things still being given stuff. But the other player got me really good. Like, that sibling player got me really good. Okay, so just a little bit of knowledge. A wizard is needs intelligence to be able to use the spells, like to be able to learn the spells. A sorcerer, which the sibling is, uses charisma, so it's a bit hard to describe charisma. It's like being very confident and being very charismatic, right? But she got me really good by saying, well, you got to go to school, you got to actually learn things, and I was like, oh wow, I did not see that coming. Like, she literally had like a really good moment where she was like, you got to go to school, I didn't. Our foster parents sent you to school, they didn't send me to school. And I was like, man, that was a really good moment there. Let's get the tonic. But yeah, like, moments like that I didn't even think about, and it was just so funny just watching this all play out. That's why I like playing D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder. It's just moments like this. But, in saying that as well, I rarely get to be a player. Oh, I can't get that. Oh, must be that's a new icon. Must be more health, I suspect, but I can't get that at the moment because I don't have the spider rune. But yeah, I GM a lot of games. Like, every Saturday, I'm GMing a game. But there's 2 games that run during Saturday days at my local board game shop. Starfinder and then Pathfinder every other week, right? Oop, hold on just 1 second. So, I have those during Saturday days. That's hilarious, gonna lurk for a bit, but I'm here. Yeah, all good, man. Oh, let's grab this. Oh, it's purple. Is that extra jump? Oh, it's an extra jump. I'll take that. So, that's me Saturday day-wise, so they get a game in every 2 weeks, right? Then Saturday nights, I have something like 4 groups. Curse of Strahd, which is D&D 5th ed pre-written, which is I have to read out of a book. And it's not... I still can like, add things however I want. But it's like a pre-written it's a pre-written written by Wizard of the Coast, which is the people that made D&D. 5e at least. Then there's a Starfinder group. Then there's a D&D group that is my own world. So actually I think there's 3 of them. Yeah, there's 3 of groups. I used to have 4 on Saturday nights. But that's generally why I don't stream on Saturday nights. Because I'm pretty busy from 9 AM to 2 PM for Starfinder or Pathfinder in the day. And then 4 hours later I'm doing one of the other games until like 10 PM or even 11 PM. So it's a... Oh, I should have answered that question before, but the sessions can go for 2 to 3 hours. But for me, I generally go for about 3 to 4 hours. Like, for me, that's a sweet spot, for me personally. Like, fights can take like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how quick and knowledgeable your players are. Like, if, for example, the fighter knows what he's doing, he can be real quick. He can have real quick turns. Cleric might know exactly what they're doing as well, and so forth. That can speed up the game a fair bit. And D&D 5e is very friendly, I'll say. Like, it is... Like, on my scale of games are, you know, easy to get into to very difficult, would be D&D 5e is the easiest one. It's very straightforward. It's very easy to read. If you have someone a little bit experienced, or even just looking at a YouTube video, how to explain the sheet, it is very straightforward to get through it. And the rules for D&D 5e are very easy as well. And look, I have some very difficult games like Pathfinder, which is a number crunch game. Like, if I showed you the sheet that came in Pathfinder, you might actually think, oh, what is all this? Like, what is... like, what's BAB, which is bonus attack? Bonus attack bonus? I might have even messed that up. But it's basically... It looks very confusing at first, I'll just say. And Starfinder's between both of them. Like, it's still a bit of a number crunch, but it's easier than Pathfinder. Oh, that was the cursed area. But yeah, I'd recommend get into D&D 5e. Get the player's handbook, which is just... As a GM, that'll still help you immensely, because it still has everything you need to know how to run a game. How to run a game, and it even helps you as a GM when your monsters are referencing spells. Hold on. Oh no, it's not a full way area. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, the player's handbook will help you even as a GM, because it has all the spells that are relevant for your monsters in there, and certain abilities as well. But if you're wondering, okay, I got my players, I got my dice, I got my character sheets. Alright, what do I do now? Well, here's the fun part. You get to make a world. Now, you don't have to make a whole giant planet off the bat. The easiest advice I was ever given when it came to making a town, oh sorry, making a place, just make a town and have one simple quest in it. That's all you have to do. Just get started, and the rest will be figured out as it goes. Oop, get him. Like for me, I started off with literally half a country made already, because I was like planning it for a whole year before one of my best friends, literally said, "Hey, we don't have a game this Saturday. Why don't you give it a go?" Little did I know, my best friend was just trying to be he was a forever GM as well, and he was just trying to get to be a player. Little did he know, little did he know I became the forever GM from then on, and it's funny. But yeah, look, I enjoy GM. It's a lot of fun. There's so much to it. I started off with Pathfinder, so I started off with the more harder game, I guess. But look, I wouldn't change it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's got me into so many different like tabletop games, RPGs, groups of friends that I never thought I would be friends with. Like, we're not talking like, I guess, okay, I'll talk about the kind of people I've encountered in tabletop games, RPGs. Funny enough, I have played with Rugby League. Sorry, if you don't know what Rugby League is, it's kind of like New South Wales or the east. I guess the eastern coast of Australia's like one of their major sports. I've had a Rugby League Division 1 player come and play. I've had literally someone that looks like he could look like a bikie come and play in my games. I've literally had nurses, almost, I think I had a doctor at one point. Like a lot of different kind of people. Oh, you played Rugby League. Oh yeah, no, Rugby League is a very contact heavy sport. I don't mind people that want to play it, but I'd be like, just let me play tag rugby. Let's see, ancient sewers, ramparts. I think we're in the sewers, right? We can't get to the auditorium from here. But yeah, I've had like basically people you wouldn't expect to be a tabletop game. Like that has also changed my view on board games and tabletop as well. Like there is a high number of different people you would not expect to be in playing those kind of games, and it's great. It's like the different kind of people you can encounter. It's great. Let's see. There we go. But my biggest thing as well is that I'd rather be playing at a table than at a computer, like in Roll20, which that's a really good system. I know people would prefer it online, which, you know, everyone to their own. I'm more of a in-person kind of person. Let's see. We don't need to upgrade that because we could. That's really cheap. Bugger. Wasn't too much. Yeah, we'll upgrade this as well. Oh no! Oh, nice freezes. Yeah, we'll get that. Haven't even used this, but it's fine. But yeah, the kind of people you'll encounter in tabletop RPGs, at least in the board game shop, are very different to what you might think you get. And I'll put it simply like this way: the first session as a GM is always stressful. I was like nervous. I was very nervous for a very long time after that, because I was always thinking like, okay, what are my players' expectations of me? Am I getting the rules right? The best advice I can give to that is, if you make a mistake, that can turn into a really neat story or even a character. Like, I had a dwarf merchant, selling health potions for, I think it was 5 gold, and potions were worth 50 gold, not 5 gold, 50 gold, and I just was like, yeah, he's selling them for 5 gold. And I was like, I didn't even realize that until after the session. So all my players kind of pointed that out not long after they had bought the potions. And I was like, okay, well, he's got I already gave him a name, and the players liked him. And they protected him for like 3 sessions from getting assassinated by rat people. And yeah, and he's his own character now. He sells things very cheaply. He's not the brightest person. That's alright. Oh, bank. Yeah, we'll go to the bank. So yeah, you can definitely get like cool stories like that. Oh, I'm just gonna have a little drink. But here's also another story when it comes to GMing. I wanted to have, like, my very first set piece to be a fight on a boat, or 2 boats. On one boat, it was like a travel boat where the players were on, and they were going to a country. And the other boat was going to have goblins and 2 trolls. And the trolls were going to throw the goblins onto the other boat, and, you know, have a nice fight. Trolls wouldn't get on the boat because, one, they're very hard to kill, especially at level 1. And it would be almost impossible, especially with 2 of them. Oh, sorry, this thing. These people died waiting for too long. Oh, must have been a long wait. Oh. Must have been such drag. Okay, there we go. And now, the rules in Pathfinder, I was trying to look for each and every individual rule. Like, how would a troll pick up a goblin? Would that be an action? Would that be a free action? And toss them over. How much strength would they need? How far would they go? Do I need a dice roll? Now, here's the big part. I spent a whole day trying to find all this information. And at the end of it, I was like, stuff it. The trolls are already strong enough that they can throw someone small that is willing to be tossed. I'm just going to go with a D100, which is 2 dice that are... One has numbers up to 10, and the other one is numbers... It's the 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so forth, up to 100. I was like, if they roll over 70... the goblins go up and over the, like, through the sails and off the other side of the boat. If they go below 20, they don't even make it to the boat because they just literally got dunked into the water. And that's not in the book. And the rule-heavy Pathfinder did not have in the book. And you know what the players thought? That was a really cool cinematic thing. They knew it wasn't in the book, but they had fun just watching all the goblins either getting dunked into water, tossed over, or even just cutting them in midair. Like, because they would hold their actions and try to attack them from midair. It was great. Oh, is he suffering from a high situation? Oh, okay. So yeah, like, if you don't have the exact rules, it's totally cool. When you have red, so we're going down to red door. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You'll make a lot of fun memories. You can even, like... Oh, hold on. A little drink. Like, you could have literally any moment. Like, you could have any situation, and you can draw on so many different medias to cover these sort of things. Like, if you wanted, say, for example, a tournament, and you wanted to be Mortal Kombat, you totally can be. And you can rename all the characters, or even have them exactly the same, and have your players deal with them in a variety of ways. It's a lot of fun. Alright, so just give me 1 second, we'll just wait for unlock this door. Let's see. Okay, so we'll just put on pause just for a second because just had to run one ad. I'm sorry. So just for those that aren't seeing the ad, we're just on a small ad break. I'm very sorry about this. It's just to keep the pre-roll off. But yeah, just in regards to D&D. And just coming up with ideas. Like, you can get inspiration from any bit of media. Like, I joked to my friends the other day that Lord of the Rings is literally someone's D&D game. Like, when I broke it down, I was thinking, like, man, this is like a very big D&D game you could have made. And yeah, you can have like Mortal Kombat if you really want, and have a big tournament arc. I've done that sort of thing. I've even had a racing thing in Starfinder, so like pod racing from Star Wars, and you can have them like racing on a big track just by having the appropriate skills that you think that need to go for the whole thing. So yeah, like when it comes to drawing on media, you can totally do a number of things, and it's all cool. Alright. But yeah, all it takes to start a game is literally paper, pencil, dice, and that's it. Ooh, oh boy. Like, that's all you need to start. Like, I had that to start with, and grid paper. And players used dice as their minis, so to speak. And eventually I would get my own, like, rolling... Well, actually, not rolling thing. I went from grid paper to a whiteboard that I marked out with permanent ink. So we would have a grid at all times. And it was pretty easy to carry around and so forth. Oh, man, your combo's hard. Oop. Okay. Oh, cursed chest. Sure, we'll take it. Why not? Let's take it. Oh, 4... Is that 4 times? Oh. I think we take these swords. Look, we're cursed anyway. But look at that damage. We could just kill things in one go. Alright, just gonna pause the D&D talk just for a little bit. I just gotta concentrate here. Because we're cursed. If you're not aware of what being cursed is, if you take damage, aside from the, I think it's ossuary, darkness damage, you will die and that's it. Run over. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to either ambush enemies or use our trap. Which we're probably going to use a trap. Yeah, there we go. Let this thing do the work. Do the work. It's unfortunate. I forgot we have frostbite. There we go. Okay, 2 enemies dead. Sorry, we will get back to the D&D talk. I got a feeling there's going to be a golem around here. We will get back to that 12 in a second. Is there any gold bats? Oh, let's just take them out. Just blast them. Alright, let's throw down a trap. Oh, gotta be closer. Oh, he didn't aggro from that. Sorry, I'm being very cautious. We'll drink here. Yeah, it was 60%. Oh boy. He's gonna run back, isn't he? Okay. That's one guy we don't want to deal with, because he attacks very fast. He's a fast guy. Oh, I think he can actually hit me from here. Oh, I'm too far away. Oh no, I got an idea, Oh no, I don't have an idea! Ooh! I didn't think... I thought he was tossing something at me. Oh, we killed him. Okay. I didn't think we killed him. Oh, we didn't kill him. Let's set a trap and go. Go, go, go. Yeah, he was coming after us. Oh no, it's a trap! Why is it doing that though? Oh, that's why. Okay, we could just die here, okay? Oh, okay, it's giving us to teleport out. Let's take a look. Oh, it's actually showing us where we'd go. We take a chance. There's this area we need to uncover. Okay, go down there. So we will get back to that D&D talk. Like, I think we were just mentioning like how to get started in D&D. Don't worry, we'll get back to it. I just want to kill 4 more guys, then we'll get back to the talk. Oh, it's a teleport right there. Oh, gold bats, yes. Go. Yes. 2 more. Oh no. Okay, I don't know much about these guys, but they are a pain to deal with. They're like spiked mushrooms. Oh, disgusting. I think they can teleport. Okay, we're through. Okay, back to D&D talk. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so to get started, you just need pen and paper. Oh boy! Okay, hold on. Whoa, whoa. Oh, he's got Ah! Oh, he had an invincibility shield. So yeah, it's the way to get started in D&D and all that. Oh boy! Freeze! There we go. Paper, sheets, paper. Just a sheet of paper. Nothing. Oh. Oh. Yeah, sheet of paper, pencil. Sheet of paper, pencil, dice. The 7-sided die. Oh, sorry, the 7 dice you need. One of them is the one you'll roll the most is a D20, which is 20-sided dice. Oh, by the way, you might want to play that ad soon. I got feeling pre-rolls coming in. Yeah. At the moment, the pre-roll's at 25 minutes, so we're all good for a while. But yeah, so paper, pencil, 7 dice. You can get a board game shop. Go. You just need a grid paper, I get. To make it very easy. Oh, that's a lot of damage. To make it easy to move your character around. You can have dice as your mini. Like, you won't be using the D12 all the time. Okay, good, I didn't attack him there. Okay, probably turn around, there we go. I've died to armadillos before like that. I haven't taken any damage from these guys. I don't want to take the times 3. So yeah, that's all you need to really start. And also a player's hand guide as well, I guess. That would be helpful as well. And then you're off. You can make your own world. You could do a pre-written, which is you'd have to buy another book from Wizards of the Coast or whatever system you're using. That might make it easier, but it also can be a bit of a mouthful as well, like learning a whole book as well. Pre-writtens are generally a bit more fun, gives you more flexibility and creativity. But you can do that in pre-writtens as well, which the most famous is Curse of Strahd, probably followed by Tomb of Annihilation. Just to basically put it, Curse of Strahd is Castlevania. Basically, you're in a land that is ruled by one single vampire, and is eternal darkness all the way. Tomb of Annihilation is literally Indiana Jones, kind of. Oh, I thought that was a chain over there. Whoa! Almost hit the spikes. Gotta get that guy. He's going after gold. Yeah, Curse of Strahd, Castlevania, Tomb of Annihilation, Indiana Jones. Is there anything that's taboo in D&D? Other than things that players aren't okay with? I'll say one of my taboo things. And I learned this the hard way. Don't do sex scenes. Don't do... Unless, like, even then, if the players are okay with it, it can be... For some players, even if they're okay with it, can be hard to separate romantic scenes and all that sort of stuff. I've done literally one sex scene in D&D. It was very awkward. It was a little bit of a laugh, but it was very awkward. So whenever anything like that comes up, here's my best advice when anyone tries to say, oh, I want to, have a romantic night or stuff like that. You say, okay, you two go into the other room, and next morning, or black screen, and next morning. That's literally how I've dealt with some of the romantic scenes, and players are totally fine with that. And, like, it would have to be, like, a whole table's, like, to have to, like, be okay with that. And even then, it can be awkward. And even when players are okay with it, they might not have a hard time separating that sort of thing, as I mentioned. So yeah, you just use the black screen, or it's morning now, and kind of skip the whole thing, but still addressing that something happened. You're not sure what it was. Yeah, that's one of my taboo things. The other taboo thing, I guess. Oh yeah, this is probably even more than the romantic thing. This is the big thing. So whenever you kill enemies, generally you get loot from it. Or when you get a chest, you generally get loot with it. You divvy that up with your party. You don't try to, as a rogue, there's always the stigma that they're going to steal things, or, they're going to hoard the treasure, that they're going to palm things off, and the players try to see it, but don't see it. The players know, and it's like, mate, come on. That was a really good, that was a lot of gold that we could all use. That's my other thing as well, is treasure hoarding. That's probably bigger than the romantic scene thing, because that comes up a lot. And this isn't taboo, but this is a pretty good rule of thumb. Don't split the party if it is a... what's the term I'm looking for? If there is fights that can happen. Because if half the group is in a fight that is meant for a 4-player fight, or even if it's meant for 2 players, the other 2 players are going to be like, okay, what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? So that's my 3 taboos. Treasure hoarding, romantic scenes, and fighting without a full group. Oop, gotta go on the other side. So those are my 3 taboo things. Right. Like literally, like if you're looting stuff, everyone should have a share of the pie, so to speak. But if there's like one item that is like, oh, there's a ring of protection, but there's only one thing, and that's the only thing, well, the group can decide what who's gonna get that ring. Generally, the tank should get it, or the rogue should get it, in my opinion. But compositions, oh boy, that took a lot of HP off. The compositions can be vast and different. Like, in D&D, I think there's 9 or 10 core classes. So you're not going to be able to get all those in one group, right? If I had to give a recommendation, like literally beginner or your first group, or not first group, but like the most balanced group, would be fighter, wizard, cleric, rogue. That is the default group, I would say. Reason for that is the fighter is a frontline fighter. He's also got a good health pool. He can adapt to any situation, but very likely in this group composition, he's going to be up and close and in the face of the enemies. He can take all the damage. He's pretty good. Now, I saw a room back there. I'll grab that. So, you got a frontline fighter. You have a wizard who is capable of dealing range damage and giving buffs. The cleric can also give buffs, but the wizard's pretty good at buffing as well. The cleric. Now, here's the interesting part. You think the cleric would just be the healer, but he's not just a healer. Because of the nature of a cleric in D&D 5e, when I mentioned before that they are jack of all trades, master of a few, I wasn't kidding about that. Like, they are generally great at everything. But the big draw for playing a cleric is, of course, their ability to heal. Paladin and druid and bard can heal, but the cleric has subclasses that just make them head and shoulders above everyone else. So your cleric can be a healer, can be a healer in armor, can be a healer with range attacks. It doesn't just have to be a heal bot, I'll say that. So the cleric is pretty nice pretty nice class. And of course the rogue. Oh, hold on, just checking the rest of this map. There's a bit more down here. Yep. Oh, Minotaur Scroll. Missed that. The rogue can fill in these skills. Oh, hold on. What's this? Oh, it's the end of the level. We didn't borrow any money, so we're all good to exit if we want. But we're going to finish out the bank. And we need to get that Minotaur Scroll. But yeah, the rogue can be the skill character that gets you guys, like, picks the locks, disarms traps, which are... Do rogues typically carry a knife or could use a sword? They can use both. They can use a knife, they can have a sword, a short sword typically, a rapier, they can even hold a sap. A sap, like, literally, you know, a little bag of rocks that they can just whack someone silently and not kill them. They can also use a bow or a crossbow. So they're generally decent at everything. Decent. They got a good pool of weapons they can use. And the fighter literally can use everything that isn't nailed down as a weapon, pretty much. He's trained at everything, pretty much. The cleric, they are trained in a good amount of things, but depending on their religion or their god, they'll have a god-related weapon, pretty much. Ooh, 2,000 gold. Yeah, we'll spend that. I think this is a food shop. Oh boy, wasn't ready for that. The wizard is generally a knife and a quarterstaff, pretty much. He's not that great. He's not trained well and all that sort of stuff, but he has magic to be his default weapon as well. And I don't just mean like fireball and stuff like that. I mean like acid ray, flame strike, you know, little tiny things. Let's see. Oh boy. Oh. There we go. Oh, the gold's going to him! It's gold's going to this thing. So that's why he might be getting bigger. Okay. Oh, that's why. Oh boy. Yeah, come down here, mate. Come on. Oh, it's gold. Oh, let's go down here and draw him down here. There we go, go. So he will teleport. Pretty good. Drop. Okay. Ooh. Oh, they're thinking of attack. I'll get back to that talk in just a second. Ooh, cherry. I'll eat that. But yeah, that's like the default group, I would say. Very easy, and you can easily swap that out. Like, you don't just have to have... Like, that's a very balanced group, also. Like, it's a very balanced group. Well, I've been in groups where... And the group... my experienced D&D group has literally joked about playing 4 clerics. And they're going to call them the Amen. Different races, different gods, and all that sort of stuff. They're just... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hold on, 1 second. Yeah, they're going to call themselves the Amen for the next pre-written adventure after Curse of Strahd. And, as I said, they're a jack of all trades, so they can have a melee cleric, they can have a range cleric, they can have a spellcaster cleric, a healer cleric, all that fun stuff. Could a rogue? Yes, a rogue can use magic. Now you're probably wondering, but wait, how can a rogue use magic? Well, in D&D 5e, you get every class gets subclasses. So these are classes that make them a little bit different from their usual counterpart. Hold on 1 second. There we go. So for example, Rogue has a subclass called Arcane Trickster. They don't get all the spells that a wizard can get, or as powerful as a wizard can be, but they can get spells that can actually really help them a great deal. Like being able to pickpocket someone with a mage hand, for example. Like it's like an almost invisible hand that goes out and can help them pick locks, lift coin pouches, and that sort of stuff. I think we'd take the new sinew slicer. And on that note as well, there is a barbarian who can use magic, but it is very random, I will say. And what I mean by random is the subclass is literally called Wild Magic Barbarian. And I have got a Wild Magic Barbarian in one of my groups, where basically whenever they do their barbarian ability called Rage, where they just get angry, right? They roll on a D10, I think it is, or a D12. I can't remember which one it is. But they get a random ability for the duration of their rage. And this magic effect is just ongoing. Oh yeah, we've got the green. So for example, this barbarian, the weapon suddenly becomes... It changes weapon damage from piercing or slashing to force damage, which is the strongest damage in the game, pretty much. There's one of those guys down there. I wanted him to teleport up here. Oh wow, they pounced on him real quick. Oh, I'm worried about that armadillo down there. It's gonna keep him frozen for a little bit. I want that oh no, it's dead. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Oh, they don't teleport. I thought they were gonna teleport. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, we probably would have died there. Didn't teleport. Okay, there we go. Okay, they're dead. Alright, so yeah, classes can use magic, like the Barbarian. The Wild Magic Barbarian just gets different effects for his rage. Can't actually cast spells, but just gets them for his rage. And it's just really funny because it's random. Ooh, what's that? Ooh, Legendary Ice Grenade. Nice. Enemies hit by this will fall more slowly. Nice. Damn, that's really good. Definitely have to take that. No, we'll keep this. But yeah, like most classes can use magic. Sorry, you can use magic with a subclass pretty much. Does that make wizards and sorcerers not unique? No, they're still very unique because their magic is very powerful, and they have subclasses themselves, which is can be very fun. Like as I mentioned about the barbarian wild magic, the sorcerer, who is a full-time spellcaster, whenever they cast a spell as a wild mage sorcerer, they get a random effect with their spells. Can be as interesting as turning into a pot plant themselves. Even if they're casting like fireball and something else, they turn into a plant. Or suddenly they're levitating. Or they lose all their hair from their head. And that sort of thing. It's very fun because it's random on the wild mage sorcerer. Can be a lot of fun. And you don't just have to be a wild mage sorcerer, you can be a number of other things like a bloodline sorcerer, where a dragon imbued your bloodline with a dragon blood. And suddenly you grow wings and so forth. Oh, trap room. Alright, so from memory, the bank has a trap room, which is pretty notorious. I've only been here 3 times, but second time for the trap room. Oh, if I didn't make it. Oh, I took out the double jump, didn't I? I took out the double jump. Bugger. Oh. I think the roll just got me there. Right. Oh, that's a fall away. I can't scout ahead. Oh. Okay, what's next here? Oh boy. Kinda want to just fall down, straight down. Yeah, falling down straight would have been the trick. Sorry, I'll get back to that talk in just a second. Oh, they take away all the items as well, so you can't use them. But yeah, most classes can use magic, but with help from subclass. While classes that already use magic can be very heavily imbued by their subclass, even if they're already casting magic. Like, for example, I know I've talked about the rogue being a skill class, and that's true, but there is a subclass called Swashbuckler, where they can make the rules of combat in their favor, I'll say. It's a little bit hard to describe without going over all the rules of D&D, or not all the rules, but the basic, well, not even basic, but it's a little bit hard to describe it like within a few minutes. But basically, they can get into a fight and get out without being retaliated against. They make combat, it's funny, a little bit of a headache for me, but I have no problem. They're just using the classes intended. But when you have like literally 3 members of a 4-player group able to hit and just walk away without retaliation, like sometimes like, a little bit frustrating, but that's what the classes do best. Ooh. Better tonic, is it? Yeah. Yeah. But I will say this is a thing as a GM you'll learn as a lesson. Try not to negate a player's class just because they're doing it so well. And what I mean by that is, if there is a tank that has specialized in armor only, don't try to take away it on a regular basis, or like make it, well, yeah, don't try to take it away. Like, for example, I have a player that is a fighter, right? He's specialized in AC, or armor, right? But as a spellcaster, he can just basically say, oh, your guy's gonna hit me? I'm gonna add more armor to myself at instant speed. But keep in mind, that's at his... he's gotta use a spell slot. Like, he's gotta use a spell to do that, right? Ooh, elite here. Whoops. Wait for the grenade. So he's gonna waste a spell slot to basically say no to me as a GM. Oh boy! Wait. Oh, this thing's agitated now. I'll go in. So yeah, I could find ways to get through his armor. I could literally say, haha, big ogre thing is going to hit you for 30 to hit. Now, that isn't fair for anyone in that circumstance. If I had to make an encounter where I break the rules of the game, just because my player is specializing in something, it's not fair for everyone else, and not fair for that player that's specializing in AC. But just because that player is specializing in AC doesn't mean you just have to accept that he's going to take over the game, right? There are other ways to go around that. Like, for example, I know I literally just said don't try to make a creature that's going to do 30 to hit, right? To easily get over his AC. No, you don't have to do that. Stacking armor, there is a way around that, and it's simple, like spellcasters. Armor's not going to protect you from a fireball that requires you to move out of the way of it. Like to make it what's called a dex save, which is basically, are you nimble? Yes. Well, you can dodge out of the way of that. Oh wait, you're in armor. You cannot dodge out of the way of that very quickly. Or, and this is like the kind of like the nuclear option, but it could be common as well. It's called heat metal. If someone is wearing metal and you cast a spell called heat metal on them, you might actually kill them. And I joke with my players, and even they joke as well, saying like, okay, you use heat metal, it is now a race to kill that spellcaster, because he's going to keep concentrating on it to kill that player, or he's going to stay with just enough range to keep it going. I can't remember all the details to heat metal, but it's a very good way to stop someone from stacking armor, and some spellcasters would definitely have that, I'll say. Oh boy, I missed that. But yeah, that's a way of, like, no, it's not like, just trying to think of the best way to describe this. It's not exactly the way to be a detriment to, not detriment. It's not breaking the rules of the game just to do that, but don't do that on a regular basis, I'll say. I think that's a good way of saying that. Like, if the guy that's stacking armor is only experiencing heat metal, fireball, for literally 5 sessions straight, he might start asking questions like, okay, why is this happening? Like, why are all these enemies just doing this exactly? So it's always good to shine the spotlight on players with their strengths. So, for example, as I said, that player of armor, there was one instance where he was dealing with cockatrices, which are like kind of like lizard chickens that can petrify if they bite you. But these guys could not bite him because his armor was too thick, so they could never get through him. And that was like a funny story that we still tell to this day. That he was like the chicken wrangler because these cockatrices were hanging around the farm, pretending to be chickens. I think poison has no effect. Oh, we want the extra jump. We'll break this. So yeah, that alone has made a story for all those players. But in that same breath, they have encountered spellcasters. Ooh, actually not too bad, especially when we don't have very many mutations. But we'll go for the general upgrade. But yeah, in that same breath, it took me a bit before a spellcaster would come and really challenge that player for his armor and just fireballed him. And now, he got fireballed twice. Normally, you could be like, oh, why are you fireballing him twice? Well, here's the thing. In the story, there was like a rumor going around that there was a big armored warrior that was just going around tanking every shot known to man, right? So this word got around to that spellcaster and he was like, there's someone like that? Okay, well I better go and deal with him with my spells. But they weren't looking for him exactly, they were just like, okay, we've heard the stories, if we encounter someone that looks like this, or fits the description, yeah, just fireball him. Or deal with him appropriately. So that actually happened, like, word got around about this one fighter that was doing this. And so when they came across the spellcaster was like, I know you, fireball. Next turn, fireball. And that player almost went down, and he went down soon after that. So, yeah, as a GM, you can justify those instances of, okay, I'm going to shine the spotlight on this player, but at saying this as well, the story is demanding that the big bad or a bad guy is going to address this situation. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen all the time now, because that spellcaster is dead, and, well, there may have to be another one, but he's not going to they may not know, if that makes sense. It goes hand in hand also. Like, as a GM, you just have to kind of like gauge it as you go. Well, let's see. There's not a whole lot here, really. We don't parry. Do we take Necromancy? I don't think so. It doesn't really help us in the long run. Yeah, let's go with this. I've got a flask. Ooh. Yeah, we just take the flask. We don't drink. Oh, Black Bridge as well. Ooh, we could actually die here. Yeah, let's go. So yeah, like... Sorry, just having a bit of water. You can justify those actions over time, over story, and that sort of thing. Sorry guys, I'm just going to take one quick ad break because the pre-roll is going to run out during this boss fight. So just bear with me, we're just going to have a quick 30-second break. Just while... We won't have the fight until this ad's gone through. Okay, so... Alright. So we're going to give this about 25 seconds. I'm very sorry about this. It's just so no one loses out on this boss fight that's coming up. So, yeah. Basically, shine your light on players. Highlight their abilities. I would say if I could, but sadly I've got to run. Thanks for all the info. You sound like a professional. See you later. Thank you very much, Turin Wolf. And, yeah, you have a good one. And I'll probably talk about this like during this stream and other streams as well, if asked. And... I'll still talk about it as well, I guess. Alright, 30 seconds is up, so we'll get into this. Alright, so we could die here, because we got ×4 damage. But, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Oh boy! Yeah, back up. Yeah, he's got his poison shield now. That will hurt a lot if we get hit by it. Don't have my grenade. Roll through him. He'll get his shield probably. Roll out of the way. Oh boy. Oh, we didn't shield him. Oh, it could have taken that damage. Oh. Now that jump can actually hurt us. That's why I have to roll mid-air for it. Get to him now. Yeah, roll. Yeah, don't let him hit us. Oh, I jumped too early. Oh, almost got us. Oh, got him. Nice. I think there's no hitter as well. Okay. I think an ad's just come up. Sorry about this, guys. We're just gonna have to just wait. We're gonna give this about 30 seconds. I'm not too sure which ad this is gonna be. But yeah, this is my first time actually getting a no-hitter. There's outright damage to him. We've got the heavy crossbow. We don't need the wolf trap. Just wait. We'll give it just about 20 more seconds. I'm sorry about this, everyone. Get just a little bit of time. Let's do a little ducking dance, I guess. And we'll talk more. We'll talk a little bit more about D&D as well and other such tabletop games. 6 seconds, and then we'll pick this up. I think this is the no-hitter costume, which I've never had a no-hitter, I don't think. Flawless. Yep, I've never had this before. And I've finished this game before as well. Alright, so, yeah, just being mentioned as a professional. Look, I don't get paid to DM or anything like that. I don't think I would, because I feel like that's too much pressure. I like to play the games for fun. I like to make a world. I even have, like, documents and stuff like that. A legendary Nutcracker. Oh, no. Oh, man. How much damage? Oh. That's so safe as well. Oh, Roots enemies. Ooh, okay. We have a Nutcracker. It is not as much damage, by far, but it is very safe. I would like to take this Nutcracker. We have a Frost Blast and a legendary Frost Grenade. Definitely taking that. Excuse me, I'm very sorry about that. Little belch. But in terms of professional, I don't get paid to GM, whether it's at the board game shop. In fact, I pay to get a table for the whole day. It's like $5, which is fine. I have friends around that play games on Saturday nights. Oh yeah, we're gonna pump this up. Oh, we've got enough for the next one as well. Sorry, I'll get to that talk in just a second. Yeah, I'll put it all in. Oh yeah, and for those that haven't seen the other side of this, yes, it is 3,000. The next one's 10,000. But yeah, as a professional wise, I don't think I would want to be a professional GM. I feel like the amount of money you'd need to be a professional GM. Like, I thought about this, and I don't know. I don't like the idea of being a professional as a GM, because I feel like I have a lot of notes. I have a lot of detail of a world I've made. But I feel like I need to set myself up to a standard to the point where the game might actually not be fun for me, I think. Like, how do I justify being paid as a GM when I'm doing something for fun? Well, I guess you could have fun and still have a job and still like that as well. But honestly, I don't know how much I would charge. And I'll be honest, when I see games and people are like, "Oh, come and join this game pay per session," I'm like, look, when it comes to that sort of thing, for me, if someone wants to be like, "Look, we're gonna give you, you're running a game. We'll bring snacks over, or we'll bring drinks over," I'm totally cool with that. In fact, I've had people do that as well, and I feel bad sometimes. Like, even as a GM, like, I should have brought something, or at my home, like, I should have offered a bit more than I have, and yeah. But like, players want to be like, no, we'll take care of that. I'm like totally fine on that as well. But in terms of being paid like a session or hour, I don't know. I would feel a bit uncomfortable with that, I think. Just personally, like, I like having fun. Like, I feel like I'd have to set myself up to an even higher standard than I currently have. Like, I have to organize. Like, I have a lot of minis. I feel like I'd have to paint them. Just be insanely more knowledgeable of the rules than I already am. And look, I just don't think I could have it as a business or getting paid. And I don't even know how much I would charge for it, to be honest. I've seen the going rate of some people, and look, power to them. I don't mind what they charge. I just don't know what I'd personally charge. Like, I really don't. Like, I just don't think I could treat it as like a business. I GM for fun and that sort of thing. Like, I've met a number of people just GMing that I probably wouldn't ever think of that I would be friends with. But yeah, it just comes with like all that knowledge. Just comes with just practice. Ooh, crossbow guy's name. Oh, he saw me coming. Oh right, I got a hammer now. I don't have the swords. I forgot. About that. I thought I had the swords. I thought I had to be more careful. Oh, Heart of Ice. Oh, Heart of Ice. Nice. But yeah, like being a professional, as I said, like as I said, I'm just not sure how much I would charge. In all honesty. Oh, more cells. Go, 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 go. I think it's only temporary. Oh, we root them right. Go, go. Yeah, just in all honesty, I just don't know how much I don't think I guess I just don't want to pay for. I don't know. It's one of those situations that not. I don't know. It kind of feels awkward, I guess. I don't know. It's. I don't know. I'll give it just a little thought because just the game. If it's a pre-written, is it pre-written? There's expectations on it. I don't know. I know I keep saying that, but just give me just a moment. I'll think about it. How much would I charge for a pre-written? Probably not as much as a world that you have. I think because if you're making your own world, there's a lot more effort, and the expectations could be varying from that. Like, people might go into a Curse of Strahd pre-written and think, okay, I want this experience. Okay. And then just being like, okay, this did not meet my expectations. But when it comes to a pre-written... Oh, not pre-written. Comes to a world you make, that's a lot more effort, a lot more homework you have to do, so to speak, for it, and so forth. So yeah, I don't know... I just don't think I'd ever want to charge people. I'll be honest. I'm just happy with the arrangements I have. Where I have my friends who want to come and play. They might offer food. They might offer food, or so forth. Have a great time and that sort of thing. Basically there's no pressure to have the perfect session, which I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't think the perfect session is everyone has fun, in my opinion. Like, the way I structure my own priorities when it comes to a game is... Oh, I definitely gotta pause for this. My priorities when it comes to a game is players first. Are they having fun? Yes? Okay, we're good. No? Well, then everything else is meaningless. The next one, after fun and the players' fun, are they having fun, is story. Does the story make sense? Yes? No? Are people enjoying the story? Do they want to add to the story? Which, I love that, like, getting my players to add to the story. That's really good. Like, you don't just have to you don't have to be alone making this world. Like, you can get your players to be, like, at the start of the game, like, okay, where is your person from? Well, they're from an ice tribe from the north. And be like, that's great. That adds to your world. Or you can tell them, like, okay, where would you want your character to be from according to this world? I want them to be from here. Great. And then you ask them questions. And then the third and final one is... the mechanics of the game. Like, rules lawyering and that aside is important to get it right, but not at the expense of the players and the situation. And what I mean by that is time-wise. Like, for example, if you have a situation where you're not sure, like, grapple rules, and you say, look, I'm going to make a ruling here, but I'll make sure to follow it up later, so we don't waste X amount of time, which you'd be surprised how long GMs and players can be searching for rules. Like, as a GM, it is totally fine to be like, look, I'm going to make this ruling now, but I will make sure to look it up in the future, out of game. So that's totally fine to do. I've done that a fair few times, especially for Pathfinder, because there is a ton of rules in that. D&D 5e, not so much, it's very easy to get that right. But there are some occasional things, like literally grappling and that sort of thing, that is possible to get wrong. Or even What was the funny ones that it's easy to get wrong? Oh, yes. Okay. One of the easiest rules to get wrong, if you're going from Pathfinder to D&D, is the critical rules. So, in D&D, if you roll a 20, or in some cases a 19, depending on your subclass, you get a critical hit, which is double your dice. Yes. So, for those that aren't familiar with the game, when you roll damage, you have a modifier like how strong you are, or your weapon might be like I add a +2 because the sword is sharper, and then you roll a dice, which could be a D6, D8, D12, depending on what the weapon is. In D&D 5e, you only roll the dice twice. You don't double the modifiers. Okay. In Pathfinder, when you get a 20, or even down to as low as a 15, you get a critical, but you must confirm it. You gotta hit them again. That means you don't have to roll a critical again. It means you just have to hit them. And then you double everything. Literally like the modifiers and the dice. So yeah, that's the one rule that my players that play Pathfinder and play D&D can get wrong very easily. And there's no shame in getting it wrong. Like I've been playing Pathfinder for a very long time, and I'm still learning that game because it's so big. Like, it is very easy to get some things wrong, like, aim! Oh, that laser was coming out pretty quick. Burn down. I think I'd rather the extra attack. And the extra jump. Or slam down. And grenade. I forgot I have a legendary grenade sometimes. But yeah, don't be afraid to say, look, we're coming back to this ruling later, or I'll look it up another time to correct it. Don't spend 10, 20 minutes trying to get something right if you can just ignore it for a little bit, I'll say. My flask is full. I'll just buy a little bit of food. We've got a lot of money. So yeah, that's one thing as a GM I would say. Like, actually, hold on. Oh, just getting food now. Oh, it's 50%, so that can be an ender. We'll go back up to that zombie. Okay. GM advice. Alright, so you're going into your first session, right? You have the idea of... Oh, hold on. Let's get real basic with this. Let's go a few steps back. What do you need? We've already gone over what you need as a player, right? Paper, pencil, dice, and player's hand guide, right? Playing D&D 5e, right? That's all you need. And a dice for your mini, which you can use any of the 7-sided dice. That's fine. As a GM, it's a little bit more, but not that much more. You don't even need the DM that rule guide. There. Oh, hold on, sorry. Oh, I can roll the way up. Alright, so as a DM, you don't need... I think we've been through it, haven't we? Oh, no, we haven't. As a DM, you need dice. You need a pencil. A pencil, sorry. Oh, I rolled right into that hit. You need scratch paper. So, like a book with lines, or just a book you're not going to use. Oh, okay. Like, basically paper you need to write down the enemy's HP and the initiative order, who goes first and so forth. You need grid paper. And you can draw like a rough map. Like, what I mean by rough map is the battle map. Or even a map saying like, here is the town, here is Bar, here is the gatehouse, here is the barracks and so forth. And here are some trees and so forth. Like, that's what you'd use the scratch paper for that. Ooh, what's this? Ah, Bobby. Oh, the Bobby outfit. Wow, surprised it didn't turn up earlier, considering the update made a big deal of it. So yeah, that's what you need as a GM. Dice, grid paper for your battle map, scratch paper to draw a rough map for your town and some other things. Oh, can I get that? Good, get that. Yeah, stay in reds. Now, once you got all that, and you think, okay, got all that, then what do I need for the first session for my group? Well, as I mentioned, you need a town, and you need a quest for them to do, and some NPCs, right? Some non-playable people that the players can interact with. Here's the one big advice I am a big offender of. I'll remind myself this every session, and I will not follow it up, but people can do a better job of me at it. Have names written down on a paper that you can cross out or make a note of. So, for example, that dwarf I mentioned, that dwarf merchant, He is Bran Stonefoot, and he is a merchant. He is going to this continent to make money that his cousins have told him about. He will make a killing, alright? I had initially Bran Stonefoot, merchant. That was it. He wasn't dumb or anything like that until I made that mistake on my part. Teleporter. Where was this going to? Oh, I think it's going to Osware, isn't it? Village key. Oh, I think we have to go down here now. Oh, I forgot the scepter. We do need to go in there though. But I want to clear everything else up top-wise. So yeah, you got your town, you have your NPCs. Now you don't need to make like a bajillion NPCs. Alright? You don't need to make Bran, you don't need to make Stan, you don't need to make Hans and all that, right? You don't have to make every single one. You can make them on the fly. Which is, sometimes you need to do that. And by sometimes I mean a lot. And by, I could go on with that joke, but I won't. Like, you do have to improvise. You do have to improvise. And that's the fun part about being a GM. You have to improvise. It's a lot of fun. It can be fun just making names on the fly, attributes to these people. Yeah, okay, we'll use the village key back there. Have you got everything? Monster Eye and the treasure chest, I forgot. We'll go back and grab that treasure chest. And one thing you can do to make your NPCs much more memorable is make a funny voice. Or make an accent, if you're good at it. Or if you just have an actual accent. But one way is I do kind of differentiate some of my, some languages that you will encounter in the game, like Elven, or Dwarf, Gnome, Hobgoblin, is you can, if you have a second language, you can just easily attribute that to the languages. Like Elfish could be, could be Italian, or it could be French. Goblins could be Spanish. Dwarfs could be Spanish, and so forth. I've literally just babbled in front of people when their characters don't know the language themselves. Like, I know, as a player, I was playing a frog race, right? And I would... oh boy, hold on, everyone. One moment, everyone. Oh, I've got to wait for these guys. Well, that was a bat chest. Haven't gotten one of those in this run yet, but I have encountered a few of them before. Alright, so as a Gripply, which is a frog person, I'll just go pause this for a second, because I would use a voice that one of my players couldn't recognize. And they didn't have the language of Gripply. And it took a bit of practice for all the players to realize what I'm talking about. So let's see if I can do a Gripply voice. It's been a while since I did it, but I would talk like this. Let's go, Rolls. Alright, how about this? Okay, I'm gonna stick around here. And just basically just lowering my voice and making it a bit, ineligible, I guess, to be able to listen for. And then, here's the funny part. Once the players, like, they knew what I was talking about, and occasionally I would say, look, I'm saying this, but that would be like in combat or something like that, right? But out of, like, story-wise, I wouldn't tell them what I was saying, unless they had the language of Gripply. So then I would speak like this, right? Like, I would go, oh, I'm gonna go get some alcoholic. And then I would say to the person that knows Gripply, say, oh yes, I am going to get a drink right now. Like, literally just speak plain old English, or the home language. And it was a big shocker when someone actually had Gripply and heard me say it for the first time. Because all I would say is, oh yes, well, let's go this way, and let's go that way. Even though I'm speaking, like, English, it's very hard to hear it sometimes for them. Because I would make it almost, like, unintelligible. We don't need you, frozen grenade. We've got a red grenade. So, yeah, you can go, like, a bit ham on that. Which is a lot of fun for, like, as a GM, I like making random voices, I like making scary monsters. As a player, I like to play my play to a character. Like, to really get into a character. But playing as a Gripply, like my GM and the players liked it. They thought it was really in character and so forth. I want to keep that critical hits, 7% stun. Yeah, we'll skip all that. You can upgrade this. Yeah, let's upgrade that. Don't think we added much to that. I think it's just a percentage. Let's have a little drink here. But yeah, you can totally like take your character in a various amount of different directions. I guess there is another taboo thing I haven't talked about. Okay. There's a thing called alignment, right? This determines if you're good, you're evil, you're chaotic, or lawful. I'll go over it really simply. Good and evil, pretty straightforward. If you're good, you're a good person. You're not going to do acts of evil. You're going to be more charitable. You're going to be more more empathetic, and that sort of thing. Evil, I'm going to steal this for not a great cause, and so forth. Or I'm going to kill this person, and so forth. And doing evil acts. Now, the lawful and chaotic side of it is lawful. They would follow the law. Like, you know, gotta follow the law. Like, can't steal. Can't like threaten someone or out of an act of duress. Chaotic people are more not anchored to the law and more about themselves, more free, I guess. Like, a good example of a chaotic person that is good would be Robin Hood. He'd rob from the rich and give to the poor. I'm trying to think of a good lawful evil character though. I need to do these alignment challenges more often. I guess I want to say no, Punisher's not a evil chaotic. He's neutral chaotic, although he could still be evil. But basically, an evil lawful person would be like a lawyer who is trying to bend the law for his client. Like, he knows his client is a murderer and still takes his case and is trying to get him off scot-free. But the taboo thing would be a group that has good and evil players. That will not work very well. I'll say that's actually more GM advice. You get the group to be either all good or all evil. And you can be neutral. You can be neutral in between that as well. Excuse me. Chaotic and lawful can work hand in hand in many aspects. Okay. Alright, so this is the area where if you stay in the dark too long, you're gonna take damage. And the holy light grenade down there. That just makes lamp posts. But yeah, basically get your group to kind of... Oh, curse. Oh, no thank you, curse. I know I should, but I don't think we need it. We're going too well. I want to get this rune. I think the spider climb rune is here. Now, I believe you always get a cursed chest in the Forgotten Scepter. Oh, I've been going for an hour and a half. Nice. It's only 9 o'clock where I live. But yeah, like, when you start a group, try to get them to agree to good or evil, and then you can be neutral from there. A carrot, nice. Recharge a light. I have... Oh, fuck, I got hit on the way through. Gotta get the health back. Well, if we were cursed, that was it. That was game over. Oh, we didn't get it. What's that? Point blank, nice. We got another mutation. I love mutations. Nope, you're not getting up. Okay. Get it, yep. Recharged. Other topic of that. Oh, I was right. I was going on about GMing. Oh boy. Yeah, we were definitely super dead in person. Yeah, I think we were going on about like GM's first session. Yeah, just have a town, have a quest, very simple quest, and then you can build your world from there. Like, they can stay in that town for their whole adventure if you really want, and I've seen one GM do that. But it's very exciting when you have a whole world for your players to explore. Especially when they have a stake in it as well. Like, I got a group currently right now that's trying to make their own kingdom by conquering this cannibal-infested countryside. Right? And they're trying to clear out all the cannibals to make their own kingdom. And suddenly, so with that, they have a stake in the game. They want to get a jewelry. It all started when they wanted to make their own jewelry shop. They want to have a griffin be their delivery pigeon, pretty much. And that's how it all started. Like, they have a stake in the game. They want to be a shop and so forth. Like and that wasn't me planning for that. I had an entirely different plan, which I won't say on stream because they could be watching. There's a whole different plot to the story that they have changed because they went and did X and made a shop. That's how cool D&D is. You can just change the main plot of it if your GM wants. If your players are creative and involved with the game. Just even being involved with the game, you can change the story quite a lot. Like even pre-writtens, like the GM has a final word on it. You can change that pre-written however you like. Like Curse of Strahd. If you want Strahd to be a woman, that can actually change the story. I'm not kidding. The plot will actually greatly change if you change his gender. You can even make Strahd even harder to fight, and so forth. And yeah, the whole gender thing. That is literally a game that is being streamed on Twitch somewhere or YouTube. I can't remember which one. Oop, hold on. I want to get rid of that. That's a bit hard. No, we got rid of it. Did I get the right one? Yeah, I got the right one. But yeah, like, just because a pre-written has so-and-so written, you can just change it. If this adventure's a little bit too hard, you can change that. Which I've done that in the past. And the whole rule of cool, like, I've had an encounter where there was these gears in this windmill, and these hags, my players wanted to be like, I want to throw that hag into the gears. The book has no rules for that. Has nothing written for it. You know what I did? I was like, I made a ruling on the spot and said, yeah, those gears, you can do 1d10 or 3d10 damage from those. And that's just how I ruled it. Because I was like, there's no rules for this, but you're being creative, I'm going to reward your creativity. And I didn't exactly say that to him. I just said there's gears there. And that's another way you can reward players for being involved. Hold on, 2 teleporters? Ah. Oh, that's a bit funny. Yeah, sometimes awarding players creativity and making rules on the spot for them is actually pretty good as well, I'll say. Oh, slow. Oh no, we'll get this new Frost Blast. Like, you can just make rules up on the spot, as long as it's not, like, too convoluted or too out there, I would say. Like, as I said, those gears, they did not have, they weren't written for the adventure. Oh boy, oh, fine, oh, I thought he was going to teleport down. Like, you can totally make up the rules as you go. If you want. Like, oh, you turned around for me as well. There we go. But yeah, you as a GM, you have the rule, like, you have the final say on everything in the game. But, oh, this is actually another taboo thing I should actually mention. The game, and I repeat, the game is not player, it's not GM versus player, okay? It's not how the game works. I've seen a few people say that. It's like, oh, we're fighting the GM and so forth. And I'm like, no, that's not how the game works. Like, the GM is working for you to make a very creative and narrative game. You're not fighting the GM. Like, the GM, at the end of the day, could be like, yeah, rocks fall down and kill the whole group. End of story. You could literally do that if you wanted to, but your players wouldn't appreciate that. I'll say. I keep forgetting to use the Ice Command. There we go. But yeah, as a GM, it's crucial to be fair, but also, I would say, like, oh, hold on, what was up there? Like, you don't let your players get off scot-free from everything, I'll say. You don't have to, like, you can punish them. Like, for example, oh, hold on, 1 second. Ah, bugger you. There we go. Like, the players, if they decide to rob from the rich, the rob from, let's say, Nobleman B. Oh, where is it? They decide to rob from Nobleman B. Well, Nobleman B might have the money to send guards to hunt down the notorious thieves that stole his money. Might even set a bounty for so-called thieves, and so forth. And your players can also react to that, where they see bounty and be like, let's go in disguise and try to claim the bounty. Trust me, I've had players do that. Attempt to do that. Didn't work out, but it was funny when they tried. It leads to a whole number of things. As I said, You as a GM supply the canvas and a bit of paint, and your players will apply paint to it to make like as a group, you're making a funny, serious, sad painting. In all, you can do many things. Like no game is the same. Even pre-written, there'll be something that's different about them. And if they are the same, there's some sort of variation to it in some ways. Like, as I said about that group, fighter, cleric, wizard, rogue, it might have been done by a paladin, barbarian, warlock, and bard. Strahd, was he killed by the fighter? No, he was frozen by the wizard with his cone of cold. No, he was bathed in holy light by the cleric. No, the bard convinced him to let us go. And you might be like, wait, what? Yeah, it totally happened. I rolled so-and-so. And yeah, that stuff can happen. But there are a number of things that can happen in the game that, as a GM, will not expect. You improvise through. It's a lot of fun. It gets the brain working. Oh, that's right, it's a spider climber area. It gets the brain working, gets the creative juices flowing. D&D is a fun game. But if I also had some other advice, is have a notebook, or in my opinion, Microsoft Word, and detail all your notes. Because players will write down lore notes, they will write down who they meet, and so forth. It's important to have those notes ready for that. It also just helps like remembering the games as well. Oh, there's a trap room. Don't want to go down there just yet, because clock room's here. Or we need to go down there, I think. Yeah, we need to go down here. Boy, oh boy. Trap room time. Oh, this is the ruin. If I had to guess. There we go, nice. No, just keys. Alright, what are the keys for? Where are we going? More traps. Okay. It's a ruin, nice. Oh! What's this ruin? Please let it be a spider climbing ruin. You're not spider climbing ruin, aren't you? Oh, it just reveals the whole map. What's interesting? Okay, that's good. That's good. I really want spider climbing boots. Oh, spider climbing ruin. Alright, now we can just check to see if we've got everything. Yeah, haven't gotten that yet. But yeah. D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder, tabletop games galore. It is a lot of fun. You are making your own game for the enjoyment of your friends or even strangers. In my opinion, it's one of the most creative games out there. And I have dedicated like 8 years of my life to it as a player and a GM. It is a lot of fun. You're basically making a game with your friends, spending a great time, 4 hours, 5 hours. I've even done like 8 hours before. I think there was one that went from 7 to 3 p.m. 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. or was it 1 a.m. I can't remember. But it was a lot of fun. I'd recommend to anyone. The game is for everyone of age. You can change the game to be like, if it's, you don't just have to be playing D&D. You can play My Little Pony D&D. There is a tabletop game for My Little Pony. There's one for Warhammer 40k. There's one for... Oh, what else is there? The Transformers, I suspect. Oh yeah, there's one for Transformers. That's in Starfinder. There's even Power Rangers tabletop RPG as well. I haven't played that one yet, but one of my friends wants to kind of do it. Freeze him. Freeze him. Freeze him. Freeze him. No! There we go. Let's finish these. Yep. Oh, freeze him. Oh, I'm trying to freeze him. Freeze him! Oh, I tried to get for a second freeze. Oh boy. Oh, I missed the freeze. No! Nope! No attack me! I'll drink. Probably not a good move. Oh, boy. But yeah, the game is for everyone of age. I've seen young people play it, very elderly people play it. It's a lot of fun. It's for everyone. You don't just have to play D&D, you can play Pathfinder, you can play My Little Pony tabletop RPG. Oh, do we get... Oh, we got ice shards! Oh, sweet. That's one of my favourite weapons. Oh, we don't need you. Don't need a shield? No, we got Frost Blast. There we go, ice shards. Ice shards is one of my favourite weapons. But yeah, you can play a number of different RPGs. You can play the narrative, Core Fate. There's probably other game systems I haven't played. Like, if I go over all the systems I've played, Pathfinder 1st Edition, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Starfinder, D&D 5e. That's 4 of them. I know I'm missing some. Oh yeah, Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition. That was a lot of fun. Man. So it's 5 systems at least I can remember off the top of my head. Oh man. It's a lot of fun. It's something that should be experienced, I think. Oh, that's right. I know how all that talk started. GM professional. Look, as I said, I don't think I'd want to be a professional at it. I just like for having so much fun and making memories of it. If I got paid, I don't know, like, for me personally, I don't want to play in a game that's paid. I don't know. I just never been in those kind of games as well, I guess. I kind of want to go to Shipwreck. I know I've never finished Distillery, and I finished this game. Never gotten through this place. But I kind of want to go through the Shipwreck to see what it's like in Stem Cell 2. You know what? I'm just going to say a number. I think $10 a session per play. Oh, just teleports right down. Okay, that's a nice shortcut. Yeah, maybe $10 a player, I guess? That would equate to $40 potentially. Not exactly big, but at the same time, I feel like that leaves that stigma of those players being like, well, we paid them, and yeah. Yeah, I think it would just be 10, I guess. Okay, so for those that aren't aware of this place, this is the DLC for Queen's... I can't remember the name of the DLC. But it's still spooky. It's my second time going through here. Yeah, it says very scary creatures. I guess for a bit of inspiration for D&D and all those games as well, if you're making your own world, you can literally make this whole world here. You can take inspiration from Dead Cells. I've taken inspiration from various pieces of media, but the one that I based the whole adventure around was with Knights of the Old Republic from Star Wars, on Xbox. That was like 20 years ago, I think. I can't remember, or 19 years. But the whole idea for one adventure was for the group to go around to 4 different planets to try to work out where the Star Forge was. Literally the same as Knights of the Old Republic. But it was different along the way. Like, that was just the main plot. But the big quest. And the players enjoyed it. And we went through 70 sessions? Oh, no, I can't get for that. 70 sessions, and each session was roughly 4 hours long. A lot of fun was had, and yeah, it was great. I introduced about... Oh, man, there's a lot of people in those games. But, okay, one other thing as well, as a GM, I've GM'd... Let's just use that adventure as an example. 70 sessions, 4-hour sessions each, every second Saturday at one point. It used to be once a month. I had 3 players from start to finish, and I had, I think, 3, 5, 6 players that joined in that time and left, and then, oh, sorry, 7th as well, sorry. But then, sorry, then there was one player that played for like 25 sessions right up until the end, and he's still playing my next adventure as well. You'll have players come and go as well. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes players will stick around to the end, and yeah, it's... You make a lot of friends... Oh, took a purple, oops. Yeah, you make a lot of friends in this, like, over time. Oh, he can see me. I thought he couldn't see me. Oh well, good to know. A lot of damage. Oh, there's something else I was going to mention as well as a GM. Ooh, and it was important as well. Oh, give me a sec. Give me a second. I really want to try to remember this. What was the important thing? 70 sessions. Well, this is not the exact thing, but schedules and like planning. Oh, he hits me through the wall. Oh, you bugger. Okay, when it comes to scheduling sessions, not everyone can make every Saturday. Like, for me, for example, in that 70 sessions, not every one of those original players could make every single session. Like, I think 2 of them only missed 3 sessions for various reasons. And, look, you're going to have players that can't make every session. And that's fine. I always told my players, life takes priority over this game. Like, whether it's work, whether it's weddings, whether it's birthdays, like, even being sick as well. Like, I've had games where I've been sick. Oh, why am I... Oh, boy. Sorry. I've had games where I've been sick and couldn't make a session. As a GM, I said, hey, guys, I can't do the session because I'm sick. And look, it happens. My advice when it comes to that is, if one... Oh, the map, that's right. If one player can't make the session, but you still feel like you can run the session, I would say still run the session, because you run the chance that you won't have a session because you guys plan for, like, maybe once a month. One player can't make it out of 4, so you have 3 players, and you'd be like, well, let's do it for next month. And then someone else can't make it, so it's 2 months since you last had a session, and so forth. I was always advocate, and that's why I said earlier, I've been able to do sessions as low as 2 players, because I felt comfortable, and I didn't want these players to miss out on these sessions. I didn't want these players to miss out on sessions, but that we're still able to do the sessions, I should say. Like, I still want those players to make those sessions to be able to still play and so forth, but at the same time, we'd just never get a game. We just would never get a game, and that would be the sad part. I would feel sad, like, if we didn't run for like 2 months or something like that. Oh, legendary marks bow. Inflicts critical range at long range. Stuns a victim. Stuns a victim. It's decent damage, but I can't justify putting over Frostblast because that helps Nutcracker. Yeah, we're going to break it. Yeah. I've noticed that it's more likely to get legendaries now. No, because of the update, I think. Which I like that. Yeah, back on the whole schedules and thing. Look, if you feel like you're comfortable to run a session with 3 players, or even 2 players, by all means go for it. Yes, one of the players will miss out, or 2 players will miss out, but, you know, it happens. You still want to be able to have a session, and the scary part is if you don't run that session, and it's too long between sessions, players will lose interest. They'll go and play in other things. That's a thing that can happen as well. Like, I've seen someone's session where they'll be like, oh, so-and-so can't make it, we'll schedule for next month. And then that stretches out for months at a time where people are just busy with other things. I've seen a GM who used to run twice a month stop GMing for like 3 months, try to get back into it, but everyone he knows are all busy now. And people are like, yeah, let's have a session, and it's not good. It's not a good time, or people are busy now. And sometimes you just have to find new players as well. I've had that happen to me, where I have to get new players and so forth. It happens. It's a part of life. I don't hold grudges against those people for having a life, pretty much. I don't hold grudges against them. Look, it's a normal thing in D&D to have players not be able to make sessions, that they move on with life, they get married, they have a new job, or their job is like, well, we need you at this time, and so forth. It happens, and it's very reasonable, and I respect it from everyone. Like, if you can't make that session, that's all good. If you can't make the adventure, well, that's all good, because life happens, people get new jobs, or sometimes players start in your session and it's just not the expectation. It's not because you as a GM did a bad job or anything. It's just literally they might want espionage, the game, but your games are combat heavy, or they might not want lore, but they might want all combat, but your group's really into roleplay, and that happens. And it's totally fine. Ooh, there's a chicken back there. I should have eaten that chicken before using the flask. Ah, sorry, it's a little scratch. Like, one of my other adventures in Pathfinder Carrion Crown, we started with 5 players. Oh, was it 5 players? 2, 4. No, it was 4 players. No, it was 5 players. Yeah, it was 5 players. So 2 left because job and lifestyle change. And then I had another player join midway through the adventure. And so I had 4 players now. And they're all still there today. But, as I said, life happens, and I got no problem with it. It's something that just happens. Like, me as a GM, like, my job could be like, hey, we need you for this, but... Well, sorry, we need you at this time. And I'll be like, well, okay, sorry. I should say this. I've always said to my jobs, like, look, I'm not working Saturday, no matter what you do to try to get me in. So I can always GM. I don't want to be in that position where I can't do my most favorite thing, which is GMing. And just generally having a great time on Saturday as well. Well, I don't mind working Sunday, even if I'm playing D&D until 10 PM at night. I got no problem. Oh, hold on. Hello? I gotta use my ice grenade more often and the tonic. But yeah. I try to make a habit of being able to be available for these games. I do. I enjoy it. I guess another thing as advice as a GM as well is like, let your players interact with the world. And what I mean... Oh boy. Oh boy! Oh yeah, the Fanatic Sword. Nice, I got that. Hold on. Getting chased by something. Did we freeze him? Oh no, he's dead. Yeah, as a player, I like it when my GM includes me... Oh, too much damage from these things. I have to go back to the turkey now. There's a lot of damage to take. Where is it? Yeah, it's right over there. Oh, the map's over there too. Can we get to the turkey from here? Oh, can we? Oh, I'll have to go around that way. But yeah, like, I probably wouldn't use cutscenes unless it's very sparing as well. Because if your players is there sitting, listening to dialogue that they can't interact with, or you're describing something that they can't interact with, you might as well... Like, if you're doing a lot on your own, that does not have the creative... That doesn't include the players very much. Creatively and roleplay-wise, you might as well write a book, I think. I've seen that happen a few times with some GMs where they're just like, you're probably better off writing a book. I've also seen... Okay, I guess horror story time. I, as a GM, you know how I've said you have the final say on the rules, right? I've had a player basically try to argue against me, and I even stated, like, referenced the book, like saying no, even the rule book says what I'm saying is correct, and he tried to argue against it and so forth, and that lost me a player and not just a player, but it lost me a whole group because, well, I've lost half the group because this player and his missus no longer are interested in playing tabletop, or rather, the missus didn't want to play the tabletop, and the husband, oh boy, that was hard. Basically, the husband would take over her character while she was like just on her phone, not interested in the game anymore. And the other players felt the same as well, like that they just weren't interested in the game. And it wasn't, or not that the one player was interested in the game, but it wasn't healthy, I guess, for them to stay. Like, chemistry-wise, it was very awkward, very uncomfortable having them in there. And that happens sometimes. You do have to give the boot to some players. I don't have the wall run. It's frozen. Smack with me? No. got it. There we go. Yeah, sometimes you'll just come across players that just don't mesh together, and sometimes that adventure doesn't go through. Like, I've had games where they just kind of like die out because the chemistry of the group didn't run well, or just literally work got in the way, and so forth. It happens. I know I keep saying it happens, but it is what it is. There we go, bash in. Yeah, so if you're the first time GM and you got a group that doesn't work out, keep trying. Because sometimes people just don't work out well. They don't mesh well. Oh, let's have a bit of water. Alright. Down we go. Alright. Any other advice I can think of? I've already... I got a few horror stories. But which one to tell? There's one horror story where... Like, this actually led to me GMing for the first time. So I was a player in another person's game, right? And me... Yeah, it was very awkward because we had Messenger, and I got a message from the GM saying like, "Hey, so and so and so and so aren't really liking the game. Do you want to be? I'm gonna." Basically, he wanted to get rid of these two people, and these two people are my best friends, right? And I was like, "Well, have you tried talking to him?" And the GM said, "No, yeah, I've tried talking to him." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, look, let me think about it." I went to talk to my two best friends, and they hadn't heard anything. And they were legitimately, like, very nice people, very roleplay eccentric people, very nice people. But this GM just had something against them. Like, I guess it's been too long since for me to recall the story like 100% detail. But I just remember he had something against him. And I can't remember what it was. Hold on, I'm trying to read the coin's rapier. Attacks that hit a target, also slight reality, cutting anything on the path. Nice. Graceful and deadly, just like her. What's it saying? Yeah, the horror story of the GM. That's another thing, like, communicating is very big. You should communicate with your players on sessions, be truthful about them, with communication. If someone's having a problem, just sit down, have a talk with them. Don't try to go behind their back and talk with the other players. If there's a legitimate problem that can be solved just by addressing it, like, for example, player A was hoarding all the gold. I would sit down with that player and be like, look, this is something that you should be splitting with the party. Is there a story reason for it? Is there something that's prompted it? And you just talk to them about it. Like, just be people about it, I guess. Be adults about it, I guess. We don't have a heal. Oh, that's not much of a heal. Oh, but we've got a tonic. We're fine. But yeah, like, when it comes to just problems that happen, just talk it out as adults. It's like, groups have dissolved over, as I just mentioned that horror story. GM didn't like the two mentioned friends, and so forth. And okay, conclusion to that horror story, I never talked to that GM again because communication really broke down. I'll put it like that. Because I didn't talk to him, he didn't talk to me again. I think he must have worked out. I just went and talked to my two best friends. And I don't think he GM'd again, because I never saw him in the local. He was a local person, but he was never... Oh, boy. Oh, boy! Oh, you're kidding me, no! This is why I want the spider... Oh, I've got nowhere to go. This is why I want spider climbing rune. Just to be able to wall run away from this person. Alright, we might have to heal here. Oh boy, no time to heal. Yeah, okay, now it's gone. Alright, yeah, we heal. We heal. Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, communication is pretty key with these sort of things. Just Be adults about it, talk about it. If you got a problem in the group, have a chat about it. It solves a lot more problems, trust me. Well, I've had arguments against my best friends, and we're just talking about adults and move on. Alright. Okay, Calliope. Okay, this is something a little bit unusual with Dead Cells as well. You get to fight and run away from these mini-bosses. Or bosses in reality, I guess. There's 3 of them. And I really like this. But I really want my spider climbing runes. I really want my spider climbing runes. They make the traverse part a lot easier, I'll say. Alright, second sister now, second bodyguard coming up. I think it's the archer. Oh, you kidding me? I didn't get through it. This is why I really want those spider climbing things, just to walk around them. I can't pronounce that name. Oh boy. Tonic! Give me strength! Breakthrough! Aha! Oh no! Also, double jumps would help. Ah! No, Archer! Why? Funny enough, in D&D, you could literally run something like this if you wanted to. There are chase rules that you can have that are set up in the book if you want. It's... oh boy, sorry. Just having a good laugh. Oh, right, okay, Archer was a bit of a problem. I have to use tonic here, yep. Smash both of them. Freeze you. Oh, he froze. Oh, you kept going. I have to freeze her, yep. Oh, you... there's only the tonic. We do have Frost Blast. Ooh. Sorry about that, everyone. Let me just have a little drink real quick. Just a little drink real quick. But yeah, you could literally run something like this in D&D if you want. It's a lot of, as I said, you can be really creative. You can have dinosaur riding, you can have bike riding. You can have them running Indiana Jones away from big boulders. Where is it? Oh. Alright, we gotta get Calliope down here. Freeze. Oh, she froze while moving. Alright, we're safe from the archer because you can't hit underneath until she does that. There we go. I do like the music for this. This is pretty cool. Oh, got a good hit there. I gotta get rid of one sister before I drink. Isolator. She's dead. No, she's not dead. Oh no, she teleported away, I think. No, she's back. He's back. Ooh. Oh, we died. That was unfortunate. That was mildly unfortunate. But look, that was a good run, I think. I just had to learn their attack patterns. That was the second time I ever fought the sisters, or bodyguards. It's about 9 at 30. 2 hour stream, that's not too bad. I do think we'll end the stream, but I'll give lasting advice. Let's see. Things as a GM. Yeah, I guess the prime things, I guess. When it comes to making the world, start with a town. That's all you need. A simple quest. As a GM, get the player's handbook. Get the beast scenario, or the monster manual. Why the monster manual? And I know I didn't mention this, I should have. This will give you the stats of all the monsters. You can follow this very easily. It'll give you Goblin, it'll give you a number of monsters. The cool thing is, a cool monster, Beholder, but you shouldn't do that to level 1 players. Give them something like Goblins or Orcs and stuff like that. Or even make up your own monsters based on those monsters. I've had templates where I put the Ogre stats, but gave them the Wax template. And I just made it up like, it's literally an Ogre that has damage resistance to bludgeon, to slashing, but weakness to fire. So your monster manual, your player's handbook, your grid paper, your dice, scratch paper, and a pen. You can get like a GM shield, which I would recommend if you can, because you can hide your dice rolls, you can hide your minis, you can hide all your notes behind like literally a wall. You can do music if you want. I've got the way I've palmed off some of my responsibilities is getting the players to be responsible for their own music, and that's cool. Scheduling, always make sure your players are good for schedules. Even send them reminders. And if a player can't make it, that's fine. You can still run the session. And as noted, I was meant to have a session last night, but half my players pulled out, and I know one of the players out of the last two wouldn't want to come without her husband or boyfriend. Which, look, that's totally fine. She's got other stuff to do as well. So scheduling is also important. Just talking a bit, being adults as well. But yeah, if you start, they will come. Like, the joke is the forever GM. I am a forever GM, and as a player, I believe I'm only in one active game as a player. Wrath of Righteous. Yeah, I'm only active as a player, and I GM 5 other games. Yeah. But look, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, if I had to choose between being a player and a GM, I'll snap that GM hat quicker than you can think. Like, I will take that GM hat. Like, it is, as I said, when someone says, "Oh, why do you like being a GM so much?" Or, "Yeah, why do you like being a GM so much?" Because I get to play I get to basically play all the things. I get to be all the things, and I get to see how players react in ways that I could never imagine. Like, how they're going to solve this puzzle, how they solve the situation, how they kill a monster. Trust me, the amount of fun you can have in D&D is endless. You can roleplay a goblin to be... You can have them to be Mexican, Australian, New Zealand, Indonesian, Japanese goblin, anything. You can roleplay as anything in this game. You're not limited to being basic human fighter, or elf archer, or dwarf fighter, or old man wizard. Like, I have done some crazy things, like monk wrestler as a frogman that is small, that has wrestled big things. I play as a hobgoblin alchemist that basically experimented on himself. I have done many things, and I will continue doing these things. It is a great game. I'd highly recommend it. Even if you play like something like Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity, I know those are computer games, but they're kind of like gateways into this game that will eventually draw you into the tabletop, and it is a lot of fun. So with that, and I guess one bit of news as well, I will stream tomorrow, as I mentioned yesterday. Tonight was because my D&D game got postponed. So tomorrow we'll be streaming, probably 3 PM AT time. We'll see how it goes. So with that, thank you very much for watching live or watching the VOD. And wherever you are, wherever you may be, whether you're having a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, everyone, have a good one.